The United Nations is proposing a universal digital identification system that would be directly connected to people's bank accounts and payment apps. So, if everybody had a UNID, this would connect the whole world under an identification system. Because the UN is all countries. So you wouldn't only have a United States ID, you would also have a UN ID. The UN had this agenda briefing. It's called the Global Digital Compact, an open, free, and secure digital future for all. Now, why would they want to connect to the banking? If there's some way that the whole world is going to communicate under one currency, then they're going to have to be identified under one unit of identification. And so that's why I thought it was interesting that it wasn't just ID, but if this UNID, the goal is to be connected to my banking system. I still think this is so strange because this is directly correlated with the whole idea that the IMF wants to create a global banking system. What's interesting is that when you look at what the World Economic Forum propagates, they want to propagate human identification with a biometric system. And they have this program called the New Champions, where they allow new companies to come in to help them with their agenda. Fingerprint cards joined the World Economic Forum's New Champion initiative, and their whole objective is to create biometrical identification and put it on debit cards, smart cards, and identification cards. The United Nations is
Shalom, Mike. First and foremost, before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Akakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect and risking their lives and freedoms to do so. Definitely more so now than ever before. This is the brother Zion Amafi, in Detroit by camp. And if you've been around, you should know what it is. Alright, what that sound like the video we just watched, right?
posing a
Right? United Nations proposes digital ID system tied to bank accounts and mobile payment platforms. And you got the purple gang, what they say. It ain't no microchip. It's June, which when you look up the month of June actually is microchip month, right? Regarding pets. But see, this is how things start, right? They set up test things out on pets, then children, then you. You know what I mean? So you should know that these devices, right, they have the ability to biometrics. So it can carry all aspects of your life. Bio meaning just that, life. Metrics meaning to measure. Right? What they're measuring, your whereabouts, right? i.e. your location, right? Your places that you frequent, right? Where you shop, how much do you spend, where you work, where you live, right? Hell, your heart, what am I trying to say? Your heartbeat pattern, your blood pressure, you name it. It's all gonna be tied, all right, to the MOTB, i.e. mark of the beast, just to say clearly, all right? Which, all right, if you didn't know, you should know that the MOTB, mark of the beast, is, all right, the micro C-hip in the brain C-hip, all right? It is that. It's nothing else. It is a physical thing that the elites, all right, by way of the so-called white man, all right, these international bankers, right, they looking to take control of the whole world, all right, and you're gonna be, they want the people to be, all right, or their subjects, you see, and to affirm that, all right, you have to consent, okay, to this device. You gotta say, hey, you wanna play along. You're pledging, all right, your allegiance, all right, to this It's all temporary at the end of the day. You see? Because this place is on its way out, if you can't tell already. Alright, CTD, circling the drain. Alright, all kingdoms, just look at this, and you come to find out all kingdoms basically have a they on the come up, they have a height, and then they fall. Alright? So America is no different. And we're basically in the last days of the last days. You know? So, just real quick, you should know where this is going. And if you got a problem with it, our job is to warn our people. Alright, whether you hear or forbear. Alright, we don't care how you feel about it. Alright? You know, it don't matter how it's being delivered. The point is, did you get the message? Alright? But hey, it's set up through the spirit. Hey, some of our people, 2/3 that is, right, in the land of America, they can't get it. They can't get it, they can't understand it. See it, you know, because the Heavenly Father has their eyes spiritually blocked, as well as their ears, pursuant to Isaiah the 6th chapter. All right, so hey, we can break it down every which way. All right, we can do a whole PowerPoint presentation. Still ain't gonna see it. You gonna deny it. You know? That be the thing with these other groups, right? They quick to tell you what it's not, but they can't tell you what it is. You see? That lets you know that the Spirit of the Lord is not working with these other camps, these other groups. And quite frankly, a lot of these other groups, you know, they're motivated by money. You see, they want their consolation on this side. Right? So anyway, this is Revelation 13. And 16. And it reads, and he basically being the so-called white man, right, by way of these international bankers. Right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, just to name a few. These are the people, the hidden hand. All right, you may hear the term Illuminati, right? The illuminated ones, right? The people that operate in secret. That's the heat, all right? By way of America, all right? They basically control everything. Control you. If you got a birth certificate, if you have a social security card, they control you. Now, I mentioned in the video, right, about getting a UN ID, right? Now, they already got a here in the United States, to where you have to get something called the real ID, right? There's no negotiation on that. That's just what it is. You have to get it. With that real ID, it has the C-HEP technology within, you know, that ID card. You see, so this ain't a thing that you can like avoid. Like the world is transitioning. Right, they go into a new way of doing things, which is digital, electronics. So, anyway, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. We always go into that word mark, which is charisma, right, in the Greek, right, which means an imprinted mark, a thing carved, right, showing that it's physical. The thing is going to be inserted, right, again, within your flesh, by way of a syringe. You have the charagma, which is the C-HEP, then you got the karas, which is the delivery really no excuse because the Lord got the prophets out here, all right? Again, to what? To forewarn our people of what's coming down the pike, all right? Bear with me one moment. So, it says, because of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, right? Which we just broke down, mark. So you can insert the word to receive a C-hip, right, in their right hand or in their foreheads. And you have people doing that right now as I speak, right? Testing going on as we speak. Trials, right, as I speak. Concerning this MOTB, all right, where they're changing people's lives. People that were blind, they can see. People that were not able to walk, right, they can walk. Right, they're basically trying to replicate or counterfeit, all right, all the miracles that Yahushua did when he was on the scene. All right, Esau get down. He has no original ideas. He can only copy and duplicate on the left-hand side of what Yahushua did on the right-hand side. But reading on says, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. All right, that's the payment aspect of it. Seeing how you see clearly, you should be able to see clearly how the C-hip will be tied, all right, to digital currency. All right, paper money is going to be obsolete. Right, it's going out of style. Hell, they already what was it? They stopped making, was it pennies? I was about to say dime, but yeah, I believe they started manufacturing pennies, right? And that's how it starts, right? From the pennies, right? Work their week, right through the money system, to the nickels, to the dimes, quarters, and so on. You know? It says, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, right? I.e., the C-hip, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666. Right? Every time Esau does what he does, that number 6 is always tied to the so-called white man. It's always tied to his different agendas, all right, that he brings out, right? It's just another way how to identify, all right, who's responsible here, all right? So yeah, man, you've been warned. Let's do this so you know it's a judgment. Kind of quoted it, or mentioned it, but let's read it. Right? This is Revelation 14, and verse 9, and it reads, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture, right? The compassion gonna be over with, right? The Lord is showing his compassion now by way of having his prophets on the highways and byways, us putting up these video epistles, right, via the internet, right? That's the compassion. That's the love. you see. But see how people are basically literally slapping the hand of the Heavenly Father. They're saying they don't want any assistance. They don't want no help. They don't want to be saved. The Christian church got our people thinking they saved already. But from what? Right? You still got to go to work. You still got to pay bills. You still can get shot in these streets. You still can go to jail. So how are you saved? Right? You're not saved until you have servants. Right? Till you get that new body, spiritual power. Alright? Reading on here, it says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Who's the Lamb? The Lamb is Yahushua. Right? The one that could have, saved you from going through that. It's the one that's going to basically laugh at your calamity, right? And watch you suffer, right? Because you through your actions, you said, hey, you don't need divine intervention, basically. So that's what's going on. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Give honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.